Hey everybody, today's video is going to be a little bit different than normal. Basically I'm wondering what kind of content to produce, and I have a lot of ideas and a lot of things I'm interested in. So I'm going to talk a little bit about them and talk a little bit about just a lot of general things with my channel and ask for your opinion as my viewer. So if you are a fan of games, if you're a fan of Dota 2 specifically, and you're a fan of my content, then stick around. If you're not a fan of any of those things, then this video isn't for you. Hey guys, if you like my content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. It really helps me out. Thanks. Okay. So, if you're watching this video, first of all, thank you. Every view matters for this YouTube channel. I started producing YouTube content primarily with StarCraft 2 and Diablo, with a shift in focus to Dota 2 within a year of starting, within 18 months of starting, because I started in early of 2012. And I switched over full-time from, probably early 2011. Actually, let me double-check real quick. So, I started and was initially interested in Diablo 3 because everyone was really excited about Diablo 3. And if you are old enough or have been inside of games for long enough to see the early side of Diablo and Diablo's evolution, then you probably remember how disappointing the game was and how everyone was a little bit surprised with like how bad it was, the lack of a competitive scene, the limitations of the content. I got an RSI playing it. It's why I wear, if you've watched my streams, you've probably seen me wearing this, which prevents my hand from getting injured. And yeah, yes, this was, so February 9th, 2012 was when I started making content, and I made content pretty regularly, a few times a week, from February of 2012 on. And then as of July of 2012, I made the transition from Dota to, from Diablo to Dota 2. And I was always a big Dota guy, but it actually took over everything else that I was doing as of that summer. So my first YouTube video was February 9th of 2012. What I'm trying to get at by bringing this up is that I've been making videos since February 9th of 2012, and as of the start of this year, I had about 1,700 subscribers on YouTube. And when I started pumping out content regularly again, when I built this brand new Ryzen-based computer, I dropped down a little bit. I dropped from about 1,750 to about 1,700 exactly. And since March of this year, I have gone from 1,700 subscribers to 6,200, and I think we're at 45. I think we're at 45. Hold on, I'm double checking this. I'm trying to be quick because I know this video is going to take a while. Yeah, 6,245. So thank you so much for giving me that. That's, people say it's about how hard you work, but at the end of the day, it's about what you guys, what you want to see, and making content that pleases my audience, or ultimately having an audience that likes you and what you do. Destiny once said, wow, you have X number of subscribers. That means you have X number of people that think what you do is cool, that are interested in what you produce. So thank you for watching that. So as far as the direction I want to take my channel, and I've got a lot of questions for you guys as viewers, and some of them are really broad, some of them are really specific. So, first of all, you probably noticed that there are a lot of just straight Dota 2 replays that have been coming out of my channel, and I want to know if you guys mind that specifically, because if you don't hate that, then I'm going to keep doing it, because that's something that I can do during the day. I can record 3 or 4 professional Dota 2 replays from that player's perspective and design the thumbnails, and all of that takes me about probably half an hour worth of work, because the entire time the video is being recorded, I don't have to do that much. I can set it to record while I'm working on other projects, and then set a timer on my phone to remind me to stop the recording when the match ends. I don't hear any of the sound, and my computer does, so that's an easy way for me to produce additional videos. Another thing I want to emphasize is that, so for example, I'm going to move this guy over here for the time being. So if you see a video from me with a thumbnail like this is how you can tell that it's a professional Dota 2 VOD. So this is the very first professional Dota 2 VOD, and I've upgraded my thumbnails a bit. So this is my most recent. I'm going to open this with Windows Picture Viewer because it looks a little bit better. So this is my most recent thumbnail. I'm changing all of my thumbnails over to the art associated with custom items because I think it looks a lot better than just using their straight up portraits. Comes in the same aspect ratios, etc. But you can see this very bottom says Weehaw Sven Carry. It doesn't say ESM Daily. It doesn't say Jungle because I typically don't post professional replays of junglers because I do a lot of jungling content myself. And again, it doesn't say ESM Daily. So the fact that it doesn't say Jungle and the fact that it doesn't say ESM Daily is significant. That signifies that this is just a replay and nothing else, and it is its own separate replay. It also has the words Dota 2 Professional MMR Replay replays in the title, and this would signify that it's just a replay and it's not my daily and it's not a guide from me. It's not edited severely, it's just a VOD. So if you mind that, let me know in the comments. Again, let me know in the comments of this video or tweet at me at esportsmonies. Nobody ever uses my Twitter, but I check it usually at least a couple times a day. So yeah, Weehaw Sven Carry does not say Jungle Guide, does not say ESM Daily. If it does have Jungle in the title, and if it has ESM Daily across the bottom in black and yellow here, then it's one of my daily shows or it's one of my jungles, which means you'll have at least some kind of editing, and you'll have me in the video. So yeah, another thing I'm wondering is, so with all of my, let me show you. I just made a Timbersaw jungling guide, and it says it's got custom art, you got the thumbnail, you got the items here, you got jungle, you have the patch. This is my standard format and has been my standard format for making thumbnails for jungling guides for a long time. But if you think that this should say jungle guide instead of jungle, please let me know in the comments below. Because this is the format that I've used for a long time and will keep using. But if you think that this should say jungle guide for clarification, so when you get it on your feed, it's even more clear whether or not you don't have to see the full name of the video to tell whether it's a replay or a jungling guide, let me know in the comments, and I will absolutely do that. So, I've been typically uploading between 1 and 3 of those. If you think that's too much or too little, let me know. I probably wouldn't go too much crazier other than 4 or 5. I think my ultimate goal would be to do 1 or 2 of those replays, and then 1 video of original content, potentially 2 videos of original content a day. But if I did 2 videos of original content a day, then I would probably reduce it to 1 replay a day. So we'd have something like a jungling guide or an ESM daily or something along those lines, or both, and then 1 replay, or 1 OC video and then 2 replays, maybe 3 replays. Typically 2 replays, I think, is the goal. And the OC takes me a good bit of time. It takes me the Esports Monies daily. It takes me about as long as a jungling guide, because of the fact that I have to watch the replay, study what I want to talk about in the replay, make a couple of notes about the replay, and then go back and rewatch it with you guys, with my broadcasting software on, knowing what I'm going to talk about and knowing what I'm going to tell you guys. So it does take me a good amount of work. Another thing about my jungling guides and why you've seen less of them, and this is really important, is we're in patch 7.06F, and I don't really feel like it's appropriate for me to continue to remake guides from 7.06, even though the game has changed since 7.06 to 7.06F. Some heroes, such as Tiny, got significant buffs, which make it easier for them to jungle or make them better in general, so it's worth revisiting them. I'm going to probably go back and look at all of the guides I've made in 7.06 through 7.06F, make a list of all of those heroes, and if the hero is not on that list, meaning I made a jungling guide either never for them or sometime in a previous patch, I will start redoing that. So I don't like to make guides for heroes that are too close to the same patch, and I don't like to make guides for heroes if they're in a patch that's too similar, so 7.06 letter to another letter. But I think making a guide for 7.06 anything to after having a guide for 7.06 or 7.05 is respectable, especially because of the changes in the jungle. So I'm considering going back and redoing that and making a list of all of the heroes that I've done in 7.06. And if you're not on that list, then I'll remake the guide or consider that fair game to make a guide. What do you guys think of my daily show, by the way? Like, please give me some feedback on there. I've gotten a decent amount of feedback on that already, and it's been great. But the more feedback I can get on that, the better, because I think that's quickly becoming. It's not the most popular content I do, but I can get within a day or two, I'll get 500 views on that, which sounds like nothing. But when you're talking about a video that's me talking for 40 minutes, 500 views is actually quite a lot for me. It's not a gimmicky jungling guide. It's not even like a well-edited, informative guide. It's not content that's for every Dota player. It's custom-tailored content coming from me. If you're watching that video, it's because you care that I have something to say, specifically me and not the guy. It's not just... I'm a big factor in that. So that's big to me, and it's very humbling to see that you guys enjoy that content. So, I've also thought about doing daily videos where I commentate a game of Dota that I play. It's just a suggestion that I wanted to throw out there, so let me know if you like that idea in the comments below. I'm not as good as I used to be because I spend a lot less time playing Dota these days and a lot more time producing content for Dota and watching Dota. So probably not as good as you would like it to be unless I'm playing one of my few heroes that I really still prefer to grind out. I thought about doing videos on tech news, but if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. I do a fair bit of tinkering. So this is an old Radeon 7950 card with a it says Arctic or Accelero Extreme air cooler mounted to it. Graphics card's absolutely absurd. I've considered it broken for a long time, but last night I reassembled it anyway, because I'm going to put it in my girlfriend's rig to see if it works, and then from there I might be loaning it to my roommate. If not, I will find something to do with this because of the amount of cooling it has and because of the insane power supply and motherboards I typically buy. We can probably flash the BIOS on this to make it a 7970, and that is a pretty damn decent graphics card just to have for free that I thought was dead. So pretty good. Also, you absolutely have to zip tie the end of this to make it hang even, or you have to use a GPU jack because this thing will just... I've actually broken a PCIe slot. Like I've straight up just ripped a PCIe slot in half with this card over time, even with it supported with a zip tie. Playthroughs of single player titles is something I used to do on stream. Let me know what you guys think about that. It's something that I enjoy streaming. It's not something I typically do and put on YouTube unless I've streamed it and then I'm uploading the VOD. But if that's something you'd be interested in watching, let me know. I do enjoy a lot of emulators. I enjoy a lot of single player games like the Bethesda RPGs. I love Dark Souls. I'm a huge fucking fan of Dark Souls. Thank you, Ben, for that one. VR stuff. So Fallout 4 and Doom VR. Let me know what you guys think about Fallout 4 and Doom VR, because I'll absolutely be buying them and playing them. I would say at this point that half of the reason I even own an Oculus and have a room scale setup, which I think if I lower this down, yeah, you can see here is it's not a camera, that's actually a tracking sensor for my Oculus Rift, and there are two more in front of me. So I have a full 360 tracking setup here. And the primary reason I have it is so that even though I have an Oculus, I want to be able to play full room scale Fallout 4 when it comes out. Another item of interest is the webcam when I'm playing that game and my webcam in general. So what do you think of this camera that I'm currently using? This is a Logitech Brio 4K 30 Hz or 1080p 60 Hz HDR, which you're currently watching it as HDR on. It's running at 1080p and it's running at 60 FPS. It is the most expensive webcam that I could possibly find with any decent amount of reviews, with any mainstream use. I think it's a little bit overkill, honestly. It's like a $200 fucking webcam. What do you guys think about this camera? Let me know. Give me some feedback on this. It's something that's a relatively large investment for the channel because it's only for the channel. And what would you think about having a green screen? So if I'm going to do VR content, I would probably have a green screen behind me. I can do emulated green screen with this camera, and it works pretty well when I'm sitting in front of the computer. But after I get, when I'm doing VR and I'm standing a few feet away, emulated green screen would probably just blur me into the background. So let me know what you guys think about that, or if it would make more sense just to have the non-green screen camera over and small to the side while you see the gameplay footage while I'm doing VR stuff, if you'd even be interested in VR stuff. I've also thought about doing top 5 and worst 5. series. I know it sounds clickbaity as shit because it is, but let me know what you guys think about that. And for example, I talk about games for me, or historically important games, Dota Heroes, so it'd be like Dota Heroes for a specific patch, Dota Patches would be another one, professional players, and then probably the one people would be, I think Dota Heroes probably the one people would be most interested in, top 5 and worst 5 jungling heroes would probably be another thing people are interested in. Dota Matches, I think, is what people would be, is another one I think people would be excited about, because I've already got like the top 5 of the top 5 best matches and the top 5 worst matches. I've already got one of each in my head. So the TI4 finals were probably the worst Dota series ever played in the history of the game, at least with any sort of significant audience. And the TI3 finals were probably the best Dota series, probably the best series of Dota ever played in the history of this game to any significant audience. I've never seen anything that was quite that good, and not just because I was in love with the two teams playing. TI3 was literally fucking magic. It was insane. And I think the TI7 finals were actually quite good too. Like, people don't really think about it like that, and I think it's just because we're getting older and it has less significance to us, but the TI7 finals were actually very good. So would you guys be interested in any videos related to hardware advice for gaming, specifically for from a price to performance standpoint? So I could do computer builds and do builds on Newegg and put parts together and basically talk about how to build PCs and how to build the best possible esports rig for price performance. So I have a very overkill PC. If you're not streaming Dota and you just want to play the game, you can get similar results to what I do for less than half the price. And even if you want to stream and you're not worried about having the settings cranked up and you're okay with going from 100 FPS while you're streaming to 80 FPS while you're streaming, you can chop off, like, I don't know, out of the $1,700-$1,800 in my actual tower, you could probably cut that down to 900. You could probably cut that in half, honestly. Let me know what you guys think about that. Also, game settings optimization guide. So that's primarily a Dota thing, and I've done it a lot with Dota in the past, but a lot of guys out there are interested in games like Destiny and PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. So let me know what you guys think about that. Also, let me know in general what you think about PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It's a game that I keep looking at, and it seems kind of fun and kind of interesting. It's blowing up in popularity. No, I don't think it's going to long-term outlast everything else. I don't think it's going to take over Dota or the MOBA genre in general. It doesn't seem like it's... I mean, it does. It looks really fun and really cool, but I don't think it has that sort of long-term viability, the same way DayZ kind of exploded and disappeared. So let me know what you guys think about that. My best friend actually plays a shitload of it. Music genres for background music. You guys think? I typically use dubstep because that's what I listen to. I remember when dubstep was... I've been listening to Dat6 so long, I remember when he was Dat not feeling so well. Any interest in VR content? We've kind of talked about that. So I do keep everything on separate playlists. That's another thing. So if you go to the front page of my channel, you'll actually see I've got everything organized pretty well there. So if you're trying to see a jungling hero VOD, all of my 2017 Dota 2 guides, which are pretty much all Dota 2 hero guides or hero jungling guides, they're all in their separate playlist in chronological order, automatically sorted by chronological order. I also have a playlist of Dota 2 professional replays, which are sorted in chronological order, chronological being the order in which I uploaded them, which is almost always matches the actual order in which they were played. And then I also have my ESM daily, which is uploaded in reverse chronological order and then numbered in reverse chronological order. So like my most recent video, I think, was ESM daily number 7, which is at the top of the list, and the first one you'll see, and ESM daily number 1 at the bottom of the list, and the last one you'll see is all the way at the bottom. What do you guys think about MMOs and Blizzard RTS? So you can see I have Final Fantasy XIV running in the background. I've tinkered with it a little bit. I just finished Stormblood, just sort of passively been tinkering with that. So like people finished Stormblood like the week it came out. I finished Stormblood like within the last 48 hours. I've played a lot of MMOs of the year. I've played WoW, I've played Elder Scrolls Online. I enjoyed that a lot, and Morrowind holds a very special near and dear place to me in my heart, and I actually haven't gone back and played the Elder Scrolls Online since Morrowind was released. So let me know what you guys think about that. How many videos per day do you think is too many? Leave that in the comments too. I'm basically looking for any kind of feedback I can get, guys. If you're interested in the Blizzard RTS, specifically StarCraft Remastered, StarCraft 2, and Warcraft 3, let me know. Fucking love it. Blizzard RTS, there are 3 games that redefine the way that I see gaming. And I probably could make a video just about this, and I probably should at some point. And the first game, the one that probably changed the way that I perceive gaming more than any other game in the world, is Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos, and then subsequently Frozen Throne. This game, this was the second game that I ever played that required an internet that I could play multiplayer online with. The first one was Quake 3, and Quake 3 is all well and good, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it like I enjoyed Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3, I sat in school all day waiting to come home and play it. The next game was Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, which really changed my perspective on what a first-person RPG could be, what that could mean. And then the third game is Final Fantasy XI Online, which I suppose doesn't carry the same level of gravity as the first 2 games, because like I'll always just kind of have like Final Fantasy XIV running in the background. I've played it for several years, but as you guys have probably known, because it's always in this like dashboard now. It's always in my start menu. But I don't think about it as seriously, and it doesn't hold as much emotional value to me as Bethesda RPGs, the Elder Scrolls series, or esports. Esports is the first and foremost for me, as you guys know, because you watch my content. If I stream things that aren't Dota, what do you want to see? I've really wanted to do some more retro N64 streams lately, and I've been looking to play some single-player games through... I never finished Dark Souls 2. That's another one I'd like to play through on stream. I haven't finished my replay through of Warcraft 3's campaign yet on hard. New microphone. So we've talked about the webcam a little bit. And I've got this blue snowball that I've used for years. I think it sounds pretty good. You guys, let me make sure the settings have been okay this whole time. So, you guys have always heard me on this snowball. I love the mic. I think it's pretty good. But I'm thinking about getting an Audio-Technica AT2020 or AT2035 with a pop filter and a boom arm, so it would actually come down and be in front of my face while I edit things and stream and things like that. And it would sound a little bit more like this than like this, because I'd speak a little bit more quietly and the mic would be closer to my face. So if you think that going from this to this would be a significant improvement, if you think that would be good for my jungling guides, if you think it would just be good for my content in general, let me know. Because I've been looking into a new mic setup for a long time, and I'm probably going to drop a couple $100 on a new mic setup within the next month. Maybe within the next couple of days. Maybe after I finish this video. I don't know. I've got the money. I'm on the fence about whether or not to do it, and if so, which to do. So the Blue Yeti, the AT2020, and the AT2035 are the 3 top contenders for my mic. AT2035 is currently winning that. I'd have some kind of minimalistic amp, an XLR cable, and and a pop filter. So. And lastly, thoughts on the Pub Trash show. So Wired and I have been making this podcast called Pub Trash. It has its own Does it have its own playlist? Shit. I don't think Pub Trash has its own playlist. I don't think I made one because it was too new. Oh man. Okay, so as soon as this video is... Okay, so yeah, as soon as this video is over, I will make a Pub Trash playlist. So Pub Trash is a podcast where Wired Guitars, who is he's a 5700 MMR Dota 2 player. He is a Brood spammer. You've seen him. If you've ever seen him on Reddit with those Reddit threads titled "Reddit doesn't understand Brood," that's him. He's really interesting to listen to. He thinks about the game very similarly to the way that I think about the game. I noticed him watching my stream one day, and I was like, holy shit, you're awesome. And I reached out to him, and he's like, oh, I was really excited to meet him, and he wanted to meet me and a bunch of the people that I knew, like Microsoft and Matrice and all that. He's become a really good buddy of mine. So we do this show ideally once a week, but basically whenever the fuck we can get around to it. What do you guys think about that show? If you haven't watched the show, go see it. I usually have a list of talking points, and we basically both just rant about different topics in the Dota 2 scene, whether it's esports related or balance related or pub related. We have a focus on pub games because that's what we play, but we will talk about the competitive scene in terms of not like the game when you're looking at it from a captain's mode perspective, but the game in terms of like why the hell is crit still on EG? So things like that. So, let me know in the comments below what you think about all this stuff. I'll give you guys a quick recap. So, how many videos per day? Should my guide say jungle or say just jungle or jungling guide? Feedback on the daily show, daily videos where I commentate a game that I play, other games, emulation or tech news, VR stuff, top 5, worst 5, game settings optimization, hardware videos where I talk about price performance for gaming, building the best video game rig for the money, what kind of music do you want to see here in the background. So like, is it okay that I'm kind of bringing back Invincible again? Because I actually really like that song, like a lot. Like I listen to it in the background when I'm doing stuff, and I've heard it like 1,000 times. It seems like it's evolved very well. Interest in VR content, PUBG, the Blizzard RTSs, MMOs, VR content, streams. I'm going to try dual streaming at some point too when I come back to streaming, so having output to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And what do you guys think of the new webcam? Was it a good investment? Do you think it was worth it? And what do you think of my mic currently? So I'm actually going to turn off this text and stretch the webcam out a bit just so that you guys can see what it looks like in the maximum potential quality. So here's my face when it's blown up as big as it can get. It actually looks a little bit blurrier than usual, and I don't know why that is, but it's whatever. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching, and if you like this content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Please leave me some feedback in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.